Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Leger, France, here for the 2022 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships Under 23 Cross-Country Olympic men's race here in Leger. Second race of the day so far. Already had the Under 23 women's, and a great race that was. I'm Toby Prody, joined again by Kieran Page. Here in Leger, a mountain resort situated between Lake Geneva and Mont Blanc, and 1 hour's drive from Geneva. An integral part of the Franco-Swiss Porte du Soleil area, one of the largest skiing and mountain biking areas in all of Europe. Leger back hosting the World Championships here after the last time in 2004, with record crowds attracted to this small French village, and hopes are high for French success here. Perfect conditions here, sunny 17 degrees and a wind of just 6 kilometers an hour, which is not anything to worry about here. And we've already had a great race so far on this course here in Leger. There's big climbs, there's big descents, something for every kind of bike rider, which is going to really reward those with the all-round skill set. Also an altitude of 1,165 meters, 3.39 kilometers long, and an average gradient of 7.7 kilometers, and the max a whopping 23.9% of gradient here. And 2 types of terrain here. 65% the bulk of the course here on the mountain pastures, out on the grass on the side of the mountain, and a 35% inside the woods. Here you can look at the graph on the bottom to see just how much climbing and just how much descending there is. It's going to punish a lot of riders, it's going to tire a lot of them out. 6 laps of this course here, plus that half lap to start with, to let the riders find the pace. And here has to be one of the favourites, wouldn't you say, Kieran? Martin Vidar of Chile.
Exactly, Martin Vidar, a really strong rider. He's already been world champion. He's got 9 World Cup wins to his name, and he's 4 times national champion. This guy's 22 years old, which is at the top end of his age group. He really is the big name for this event.
And there is Great Britain's hopes there for a medal here. Charlie Aldridge on the number 4 plate there, 21 years old, from Scotland, the current national champion, 2nd place at the European Cross-Country Olympic, and also the European champ for short track as well. Also, don't forget, he was a junior world champion back in 2019, so he knows what it's like to don that rainbow jersey. But it's an even bigger task for him here as we move up to the under 23 men. Perfect conditions here for racing, brilliant atmosphere as well. All the crowd coming out for this one here, lining the track, lining the finish. And you can guarantee these riders will get a boost out of that on the course today. All lined up in the start. We're just moments away from starting this under 23 men's cross-country world championship race here.
So we've got 1.5 minutes to go. You've got your front line there. We've got the Brazilian rider, we've got Aldridge. We've got the French have also got a contingent on the front there with Matthias Gay. This is a really strong field, and I think we're going to have quite an exciting race in front of us.
Yeah, that's right. Also got Gustavo Pereira of Brazil on the number 6 plate there. The Brazilian national champion, Charlie Aldridge, there as well.
Avendetto from Italy there. Looking very cool, very focused on what's yet to come.
Yeah, the current national Italian champion and European champion. 2 second places so far this year in the under 23 World Cup UCI series. And there we go. It's going to be the favourite for the race today. The current world champion in under 23 cross-country, Martin Vidar, even took 16 for the Olympics. That's a big, for someone so young.
For an under 23 rider, that's a real big statement. You know, he's obviously looking to consolidate his under 23 credentials here, but you know, if he's going 16th in the Olympics, that guy's got a really big future ahead of him. Probably building through to Paris in 2024.
Yeah, that's right, but this is mountain bike racing. Anything can and will happen. Look at the focus on Vidar. He's raring to go here. I think we're going to guarantee he's going to try and push his way to the front early.
Well, I think we're going to see some pretty aggressive moves on this first start line as everyone tries to settle in. Let's hope they get through clearly with no crashes today.
Everyone's sprinting, and it is Great Britain's Charlie Aldridge trying to make his way to the front with the Spaniard, David Campos, the 22-year-old from Spain, going with him as well.
Exactly, the big Spaniard there, making the most of his big levers to get off the start line in a good position. Look at all these riders, they are tearing up this first climb.
Yeah, they're not holding anything back out of this start, trying to get track position early on. It is Charlie Aldridge with the front of the track position here, with Campos into, looks like Vidar in third place for Chile. And let's not forget, being a Chilean, this guy is going to have grown up in altitude, training at altitude as well.
Exactly, here riding in Ligier, the best part of 1,200 meters altitude, it does make a big difference. The riders that can cope with the altitude better than the others, well, obviously they've got a slight advantage, and especially on this first sprint we've been going for the best part of a minute now. These guys are full gas, and the aim is to get into that first corner in the best position that you possibly can before the technical aspect of the woods start to thin out the field, and we start going into the one-by-one positions.
And it's Mathis Azaro of France, who's also at the front of the pack. Carter Woods there in the Canadian jersey. Look out for him as well, the 20-year-old from Canada, the under-23 national champion, a winner in Andorra on the World Cup this year as well.
Exactly, we've just seen Vidal moving up into third place there. You know, the Chilean rider, he knows what he's got to do. He's really familiar with the being at the sharp in the race, and he's even come round now into second position, so he's looking to stamp his authority on the event, be there, show that he's number one. He knows that everyone's looking at him, and he's not afraid of that.
Oh, there's madness in the woods here. Everyone trying to find their way through. No one's going to really be able to get their ideal line on these first couple of laps when the pack is so close to, and two of the Great Britain riders there. We've got Joseph Blackmore, the 19-year-old from Great Britain. We've also got Corin Carrick-Anderson, the Scottish rider there. That guy's got mountain biking in his blood.
We've got the Australian trying to come through the inside now. And of course we've got Aldridge not letting him through, making a big statement there with his nice wide shoulders, defending his position.
So it looks like Vidar is now at the front of the pack. A little bit too early to pull away so far. One of the Italians there, that's the number 71, I believe. Just getting off and pushing. One of the Germans as well. So with the pack this close, anyone in front of you making a mistake is going to have to make you stop or go around if you can. And that is just going to cost you so many seconds. It might not sound like a lot over a long race, but it all adds up. So it is Vidar, just a second ahead of Carter Woods. Azaro of France doing it for the home crowd in 3. Charlie Aldridge in 4. Sam Fox in 5 for Australia. And these riders not holding back at all so far out of the start. See Alex Miller there in 18th place for Namibia, the bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham this year. Charlie Aldridge turning on the style there over that jump in third place. They come down that downhill section now into the woods, over the tech sections now, over the logs.
This is it, we can see the field starting to establish itself into its race order now. Obviously, as you're going through the single track, you can't go through two abreast, so you've got to thin out. And of course, that's why the riders were all bunched on the start straight. So here we come through. We've got the riders, little bit of contact there from
the Belgian.
The South Africa, slight crash from the Argentinian rider.
Yeah, look at all the riders getting held up by that as well. A big hold up there for a lot of the pack. That's why it pays to start at the front of these races. It is a long race, but if you can get to the front early, that's half of the battle won there. Aldridge having to get off the bike there. Looks like Carter Woods had a bit of trouble there, stopped in front of him, and Aldridge had to jump off the bike there.
Yeah, exactly, he stalled, but we saw quite a really technical jest that he did there. So a little bit of a track stand, sideways hop. This is the trial skills that these young riders have now through their technical training. So fantastic to see, and we can see that the under-23 men, they've got a little bit more in their legs at this point, and they can get through these knots of routes, which have been a little bit problematic for the under-23 women. But as we can see here, one rider stops, you all have to stop. So again, the importance of being in the front.
That's right.
Really aggressive into this drop down now, these riders.
Yeah, all choosing to take most of them choosing the inside line. Some going for the outside though, and this is not ideal for these races here. Having to get off and push so early through this section. It's just you have to do what everyone else does. You can't ride through these riders. You've got to do the same as them, or you're just going to get stuck.
Yeah, well that's it. You know, it's better to get off early and to run through than it is to get stuck and, you know, risk falling off your bike on the first corner. Here we can see the Chilean rider, the big favourite for the event. He's already starting to stamp his authority. Let's see whether these three riders can get back on a level playing field with him.
Yeah, this is the short lap here as well before we go into the first proper actual lap. This is just to spread the pack out a little bit. Already into the tech feed zone though. Rider taking on from some fluid straight away. This is what it's all going to be about, keeping those carbs, those electrolytes going throughout the race, keeping that energy up.
Especially as we're now starting to move through towards the end of the morning, so the sun's really starting to heat up, and we're looking at probably a good 24, 25 degrees again today, which at altitude is going to dry the riders out really quickly.
Here we go, so Vidar not just pulling away yet. Carter Wood still in second for Canada. Mathis Azaro of France. French really going well here today so far. Charlie Aldridge, Great Britain in fourth place. Good showing from him so far. Be looking for better. Sam Fox of Australia in fifth place, and Filippo Fontana in
a little bit of an error by the Frenchman there, a bit too close to his Canadian counterpart going through that corner. He had to put his foot down, but again, with this fantastic French crowd here, helping him get straight back into the wheels.
Yeah, that's right. Not really ideal when you're on someone's back wheel and they make a mistake.
Yeah, it's all about the line choice and making sure that you're in the right place at the right time. And obviously, if you're a little bit too close, take your eye off the ball, well, it can be problematic. But the riders have got back in there now, so we can start. The top 10 are starting to pull away. It's not quite yet full gas, so we've got very small gaps. But as we saw earlier with the technical sections, well, it's thinning things out.
Yeah, the front pack of 6 riders just starting to pull away from the Italian there, the number 7.
That's it, we've got another French rider. Number 10, Adrien Boishy, who's caught back up. Oh,
interesting line over that. Didn't set up for it, just went straight off it. A lot of the other riders trying to straighten up before they hit it. But Vidar just going in at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah. Really interesting technique from these riders. You know, you can tell a lot of them ride bigger bikes than cross-country, 100mm travel. A lot of them go out, have a bit of fun with enduro bikes, maybe even downhill bikes now, these guys. It really is the complete skill set to be at the front end of these races.
Yeah, it really does pay off to do some cross-training now, especially with the downhill section becoming more and more prevalent in these cross-country tracks. It's not all about sprinting and climbing, it's about how good you are at descending, how good an all-round mountain biker you are. That is what cross-country is all about. Charlie Aldridge just falling back in the pack a little bit now.
Yeah, that start effort really, you know, showing that 50 seconds, minute and a half that they had there to get to the first technical section. If you went too deep, well, you're going to pay the price in the second half of this first lap. But we'll start to see the field settle down now towards the end of this first lap and into the second lap.
Yeah, he'll be looking just to stay with that front pack and just hang on to it and maybe capitalise later on. As it isn't a done thing here. He may be the favourite, Vidar, but anything can happen in this sport.
Exactly, you know, he's assuming his role as #1 favourite for this event. But, you know, you don't want to assume it too early. This is still only lap number 1. We're still only halfway through. You don't want to get too carried away too early unless you really do have a lot under your, you know, a lot to spare. Yeah, but these other riders, you know, they're not bad riders. They're going to be looking to exploit any weakness that they find.
Yeah, if they see a chink in Vidar's armour, they are going to pounce. But what a CV that rider's gone. 22 years old from Chile, the 2021 under-23 world champion. 9 World Cup wins. 2 last year and 2 second places.
And these riders are really enjoying these doubles. Fantastic to see that, you know, they're giving it some big style marks there. What an excellent thing to see in cross country, and this is what the young riders want to see, and this is what brings people into the sport as well.
Yeah, that's right. No one wants to see riders going stiff over those. Want to see some style. Look at that. A little turn bar there from Vidar over that double out of the berm. That is definitely the quickest way through that. But they're absolutely flying down this section here.
They are. Mathis Azaro from France, he's starting to put the pressure on our leader here, Martin Vidar.
Yeah, he's right on his back wheel here. After this section here, only about a bike length off of Vidar's back wheel now. Looks like Carter Wood still there in 3rd place for Canada, but just starting to fall back a little bit. Then it's going to be Simone Avendetto of Italy. Mathis Azar, sorry, it's the other French rider, Adrien Bouchy. But these two just maybe a bit of mind games going on now. Who's going to set the pace now? Is it going to be Vidar? Is he going to force the Frenchman to try and stay with him and maybe have a little bit of a push now?
That's the 22-year-old Frenchman from racing for Absolute Epsilon on the BMC bike. You know, he's racing with the elites most of the year, so he's looking to keep the pressure on here. But you know, it's going to be interesting to see whether Vidar assumes his status or whether he tries to swap in and out with this other rider to shake up the dynamics of the event. So he is a national champion, Mathis Azaro. He's had 5 World Cup podiums to his career, so you know he's a really solid rider. We'll just see how this race develops now as they're coming into the rocks of the finish zone.
Yeah, that's right. Well, here to come through the first proper lap now onto the pasture of the course, over the drop there. More rocks, and there'll be 2 more corners. Wow, Vidar pretty much nearly jumping the whole of the rock section there.
He is to double those rocks. You know, that really takes some panache. I mean, we even saw in the short track race that, you know, the elite riders, they were struggling with that section, but he's making it look so smooth. This is obviously a really talented rider and somebody we need to keep an eye on in the future.
That's right, Charlie Aldridge choosing to take the left-hand line there. But still with the pack of 6 riders at the front, led out by Vidar. There's nothing between him and Azaro in first and second. Avondetto in 3, Carter Woods in the 4, and the Frenchman of Bouchy in 5th. Riley Amos starting to come through now for the United States of America, up into 7th place. You see him just in the back of the picture there, just off of the main pack. He'll be looking to get in touch with this pack of 6 riders here. And there's Charlie Aldridge battling it out with Sam Fox of Australia and Xavier Pereira of Brazil in 10th place. You can tell it's early in the race because they've still got the energy to pull them shapes.
They're enjoying this, and good on them.
Yeah, showing off for the fans there. It's what we like to see. I'm sure it's what you like to see at home as well. The riders expressing themselves. And just so effortless. I think cross-country's come a long way.
It has indeed. You know, with circuits like this, the riders have come a long way, the bikes have come a long way. This is modern cross-country, and it's having a big impact on bike development for the future as well.
Yeah, that's right. The bike manufacturers really having to up their game as well as these courses get more and more technical, more and more, you know, downhill sections as well.
Exactly. You know, we're seeing the angles of these bikes completely change from what we've seen before. You know, traditionally the angles on these bikes were not so different from road bikes, but now we're starting to get big open head angles of 65, 66 degrees, which not so long ago, you know, would have been groundbreaking even for the enduro category of bikes. So we've got some really interesting developments here, and things like you know, the fork stanchions are changing. We're getting wider and wider. Certain brands now going from 32 to 35 millimeters, even on the cross-country fork. So things are getting more rigid, things are still getting lighter, which is just, you know, shows how much effort the brands are putting into it to improve the kit, to make sure the riders have exactly what they need for the development in this event.
That's right, this is where all of the technology for pretty much most of the bike parts, downhill, cross-country, they're all tested in prototype stage. A lot of the equipment these riders will be using, the top riders, will be in prototype stage. It's basically bolted onto these riders' bikes to give feedback, to give telemetry of how these parts are working, how they can be improved before they hit the market for the general public. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, we're a little bit through the prototype phasing here. You know, when you get to a World Championship, you can't be showing pure prototypes because obviously you have NDAs, you have a lot of investment on these parts. But when you get to here, it's more pre-series. It's you know, it's proving the concept's been proved. It's now about getting the results under the wings of these products. And you know, you can see these bikes, all the riders here, full suspension bikes. Pretty much every rider's got a dropper post as well. So the bikes are maybe a little bit heavier than what they could be, but you know, the compromise has been situated because, as we've seen, the rock gardens, the drops, this is a really technical circuit and it's really explosive, so the riders need the kit that's going to handle it.
So still nothing to separate these front three riders, Vidar, Azaro and Avondetto. in the gold, silver and bronze positions so far. Still pretty competitive behind them as well for those lower placings. See Carterwood just about hanging on to the pack there. Then we've got the other Italian, Filippo Fontana, in 5th place.
Exactly, these riders, they're really pushing hard. They're looking to make the differences where they can. The race isn't yet settled, so we're going to see a little bit of the elastic pulling out, but is it going to snap? I'm not sure yet. We'll possibly see some riders coming back from the second group on the track.
That's right, a quick couple looks over the shoulder there from Vidar just to see where everyone is around him. Trouble is not to do it too many times. Whenever I try and do it, I nearly crash. Whenever I try and look over my shoulder for riders.
That's because we're not the sharp end of the Under-23 World Championships, Toby.
Yeah, I guess. We're close. That's a little slight mistake then from a couple of the riders, just stalling there in those rooty switchbacks there. There's Xavier Pereira of Brazil. And the front 3 riders here, sorry, front 4 riders here. 5 now it is. But those front 3 just starting to pull away from Fontana and Riley in 5 and 6.
We'll see the Italian rider putting a foot down there. That's going to cost them a couple of meters. That's going to be extra effort to get back to on, because those 2 riders in front, they're not going to sit up and wait for them to come back easily. Yeah,
Vandeo having to unclip, dab, and then clip back in as well.
It's an interesting line choice there between the Chilean and the French rider. The French rider, he's not even trying to line up, he's just going straight off the edge, which means he's landing in the roots to one side. So it's actually opening up his corner for the line underneath. This is really interesting difference in technique from the riders in the line choice.
Yeah, so a third of this race through now, 2nd of 6 laps. No one really showing their hands just yet. You can imagine it's going to be around the 4th or 5th lap where someone's really going to start to try and pull the pack apart, like we saw in the Under-23 women's.
Exactly, with riders of this level, you know, they're putting the power down, they're making the differences, but nobody's really going to start attacking yet, because obviously you play your hand too early, it can come back like a big stick of bamboo. So these guys, they've got to be careful, they've got to put the effort in, but obviously they've got to make sure that they're doing the right thing at the right time. The race plan of these riders, each rider will come in with his own idea of what he has to do, where he has to be, his strengths, his weaknesses. The strong climbers are obviously going to put a lot of effort in on the climbs to make that difference there. The technical riders, as we've seen, the French guy, he's really smooth, so he's going to be looking to obviously make the difference there as well. We've got a real race in our hands here, despite the fact that obviously Vidar is the favourite. World champion, 9 World Cup wins, 4 times national champion, top of the category, 22 years old. He's the lead rider, and he's the one that's got the target on his back. It looks to me like we've got Obelix in the crowd there.
We've got a microphone. He's after our job by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But it looks like Great Britain's Charlie Aldridge down to 19th now, so just falling down in the pack. Maybe that opening sprint, maybe a little bit too much too soon. We've also got more British riders in the mix as well. We've got Joseph Blackmore. He's currently in 22nd place, just behind Alex Miller, the Namibian medalist at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham earlier this year. And also we've got Rory Maguire in 31st place for Great Britain, and Corin Carrick-Anderson in 41st place for the young Scot.
Yeah, you can see these riders, they've got the effort all inscribed on their face here. You know, they're looking forward, they're breathing hard, but they're fully aware they're only on lap 2 of 6, so they've got to play with what they've got, but they're into their rhythm now. You know, the initial start effort up that steep climb has gone through. They know they're in rough positions where they can fight through to the finish. So let's see how this this phase of where the race is just bedding in is going to pan out.
Yeah, you can already see the Italian rider Fontana having to unzip his jersey, so the heat's starting to get to him now. Looks like a move here from Riley Amos, trying to go around the outside of Carterwood and Scatti of Switzerland as well. Looks like he's made that move stick. So many fans lining the track here in the woods here, pushing these riders along, especially that rider in second, the French rider. He's going to be trying to use that energy and feed off of that energy and give him a little bit more performance here. It's probably, you know, I wouldn't know how it feels, but it's got to be amazing to feel the energy of that home crowd. It's got to give you a lift, surely.
Oh, exactly. Having all those all those fans out there, all those supporters, all cheering, all giving it their all. You know, they're on point. You've seen this morning we've had the French win in the under-23 women's just before, and France having another rider up here fighting for the podium already, another 23 men's. This crowd, you know, they're going to give him an extra 15-20 watts in his legs today.
Still Vidal looking good at the front and pulling along Mathis Azzaro of France with him. Simone Avendetto of Italy in the bronze medal position right now. One of the more technical parts of the course in view here. You can see Charlie Aldridge just going through the back of the screen there.
Here we come through the jump section. This is really fun to watch. His riders are styling it up. Yes. The Nino whip.
Yeah, Nino whips all round.
You can tell who their idol is. The section down through the woods here.
Just look how dusty it's getting now as well.
Doesn't really do it justice, you know, as they're coming into this chicane here. It's really tight, it's great fun. The riders get spat out now onto the bike park.
Yeah, that's right, into the real Leger part of the course here. A little rest here to try and save the legs for the next part of the course.
Yeah, as they come out of the bike park, there's a really steep little climb. And we see the Brazilian rider, Xavier de Oliveira, giving it some style over the jumps there.
See the rider's just backing into this corner. Look how blown out these corners. It's almost reminiscent of the downhill track yesterday, just how rooty and how dusty it is.
Exactly.
Could catch out a few riders because that will be loose there, and the track will devolve as the day goes on as well. So it's going to get worse as the day goes on with conditions on track, with the course drying out.
Of course, and by the time we get through to the last race of the day this afternoon, next up we have the Women Elite Cross-Country World Championships, and at the end of the day we have the Men's Elite race. And of course the British favourite Tom Pidcock, he's going to really revel in those conditions, deteriorating with his bike handling skills that we've seen many times mountain biking. But I think probably the clearest demonstration he's shown of his qualities was actually during the Tour de France, when he bridged across to the break and made everybody else look like juniors on their bikes. It was something special, I think.
That's right, we're really seeing a real masterclass in cross-discipline riding there from Tom Pidcock. Very exciting rider to watch. We can't wait to watch him later on, but we're in the under-23 cross-country Olympic race here at the 2022 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships in Leger.
And here we see the renaissance of Italian mountain biking. They're not just good at painting, they're also good at riding bikes. And here we've got two riders in 3rd and 4th place. You know, they got back on, they're looking smooth. Let's see if they put some pressure on these front two riders here.
So really having to pick the bikes up over those rocks. That's going to take some energy out of them, especially before that long straight as well.
But the fact that there are now two of them in this group of four, you know, teamwork can come into play. If these boys play it correctly, they play it smartly, you know, they can send a rider up the road, force the other two to do the effort to come back. Just have to see what the team orders are here.
Yeah, that's right. And these riders won't be getting any instructions. Radio devices banned from teams to rider. So it will literally just be shouting at them what the game plan is as they ride past the tech feed zone, and just telling them whereabouts they are in the race and who's around them.
Exactly, but more at this point, it's more about giving them the information that they need, the time gaps, who's where. But the race plan will have been decided before. There'll have been team meetings last night, there'll have been team meetings all week. You know, they'll have been briefed, rebriefed and double briefed. And you can see here, one of the Italian riders, they're making a move up the outside. Yeah. This is bike racing at its very best, people.
Oh, it is, and there's two of the French riders there, the number 10 and the number 20. That is Adrien Bouchy and Luca Martin of France in 10 and 11. So the rider skills really on display here. Cross-country mountain biking evolving so much in the past couple of years. Riders having to really work on their skill set, so they're real all-round mountain bikers, not just climbers, but descenders, jumpers, everything now. It really pays just to be good in every discipline.
Here we have our favourite Vidal. He's decided that he's not happy with having the two Italian riders coming around him. He's put the hammer down, and he's also dropped our French rider that we have in there.
Yeah, legs going away like pistons there of a car engine, really starting to push now. This could be a kick from him. He's going to put the pressure on the riders behind him. They're looking at him, they're thinking, wow, you know, where's he going? I think this could break these riders behind him.
Exactly. This is really hard for morale. This is where you have to accept that the guy in front, you know, he's grown a set of wings. He's taken off. You know, he's put what, a good 10, maybe even more seconds into them just since the finish line alone. That climb really steep, up to 17% gradient on that fire road there. It's absolutely brutal, not to be underestimated, and he's now dug a big gap. And so the French and the Italian riders, so we've got Azzaro in second, Avondetto in third, Fontana in fourth. You know, they're going to have to get over the fact that the lead is now taken off. So what's their choice? Do they sort of hold their effort, work together, and then come back at him later on? Or do they try and go with this big effort? I think, you know, we can see here they've decided to play safe for the moment. The favourite for the event, he has taken off. So let's see how they bounce back from this.
Yeah, maybe they're just going to let Vidar just go away and race at his own pace and see if he can hold that pace. And if he doesn't, they'll be the first to pounce on him if he blows up early in this race. I mean, halfway through the race is a bold time to be going for an attack at the front here from Vidar. But if anyone's capable of it, it's going to be him.
Exactly. You know, we're 26 minutes into this race. We're looking at an hour and 15 to an hour and 20 minutes total race time. It's quite a... You know, it's quite a bet to take off so early, but, you know, he looks smooth, he looks powerful. Very resemblance of a certain Nino Schurter, I think, as he's going through, not just the Scott bike that he's on, but, you know, you can see his aggression and his technique as well. And let's see how he builds through this event in the coming laps. So we've got a 16-second gap. That's phenomenal in just one climb.
Yeah, in just one sector of this course, he's pulled out 16 seconds, and it looks like he's going to pull some more time out. You can just see the difference in pace watching him ride against Azzaro and Avondetto. That looks visibly quicker, pedaling harder everywhere, punching up that bridge there.
He is indeed. Here we have the American number 13, Riley Amos, coming through. Looking nice and smooth there in 6th place.
We're still seeing Vidar just starting to stamp his authority on this race here. This is going to put the pressure on the riders behind him. This is where we're going to see.
This is where he's gone.
Kick.
This is where Vidar put the power down, and you can see the Italian was actually a bit closer there. It was Avondetto who was closer, so he'd obviously made a move up the outside, but Vidar said, no, this is my time, this is my race. You want it, you've got to come and get it.
Yeah, those legs really pumping away. There's a speed they're going at compared to the other riders. He really wants to gap the rest of the field.
And not only that, but his attack, you know, it almost looked, he had his mouth closed, he didn't even look to be breathing. So obviously the Chilean rider, very familiar with racing at altitude, which is of course here at a circuit 1,200 meters up. It really is an element you have to take into account. It's not easy racing at altitude. Every effort that you make, you can make those efforts initially, but it's just you have real difficulties in keeping it going afterwards.
That's right.
Here he's sending it into this technical section through the woods. Really impressive riding.
That's right, the air thinner at altitude, so for every breath you take less oxygen in. But he'll be used to that, being from Chile. Oh, Amos getting stuck in them roots there. Luckily managing to unclip in time to not fall off.
He did indeed, but you can imagine that's not just stolen momentum, stolen time, but it's also, you know, next time he comes through there, he's now going to have a doubt. He's going to think, right, what, you know, is this going to happen again? Am I going to lose more time? It's a real mental issue as you're coming in there to then decide to make the right moves at the right time. And obviously you've got to be full of confidence, as only racers at the top of their game can be, to bounce back from that on the next lap through.
And that's going to be the number 12 coming through the tech feed zone, Mattis Azzaro. And that gap really starting to come up now. 16 seconds last time. And we'll see just how far Vidar has pulled ahead of the pack again. It looks like it might have actually come down.
Yeah, as we saw, the French rider didn't react straight away to that attack. Like I say, it's always early on in the race like that. If you go too deep, you can pay for it later, and obviously you've got to be able to be able to deal with that massive peak of power. So let's see just how it happens, because he's pulled away, but they're now riding at the same speed. So it's probably quite an intelligent choice by the Franco-Italian pairing there to just, okay, we know he's an aggressive rider, we know he's powerful, we know he's punchy. let's let him wear himself out, and we'll get him back. We'll pin him back in, say, lap 4 to 5.
Yeah, instead of trying to chase him down and wear themselves out. That's what Vidal will be hoping they will do, is to try and catch him, wear themselves out early on, and allow him to pull away further at the end of the race here. Halfway through the 6th lap here on lap number 3 here in Leger. It's the UCI Mountain Bike World Championships, the men's under-23 Olympic cross-country World Championship race. And you can see the sweat really starting to appear on these riders now. They're really working hard.
They are indeed. And let's see if the Italian rider's up to giving a few helping hands here to the French rider Azzaro. You know, it should be, if these riders can pull together, you know, our leader here, Vidal, is not pulling away much further than he was just earlier on. So, you know, this is he's obviously playing to his own race plan, but the guys behind, they've seen him coming, and they're going to be looking to work together to pull him back and challenge his domination of this event. Yeah,
Vidal just starting to feel the heat, quite literally there, having to zip the jersey down, unzip his jersey a little bit there. But if these two are clever, they can help each other out here.
They've pulled 4 seconds back, so you see Vidal put a big effort in there. Is he going to pay for it? You know, is he just waiting now? He's letting his legs recover from that violent effort to get the gap. Let's see how Azzaro and Avondetto can do to pull it back. You know, are they going to work together, or is Avondetto going to let Azzaro do the majority of the work?
And let's not forget Filippo Fontana. He'll be ready to pounce on any mistake from any of the top 3 riders in 4th place to get himself a medal here today. Schiatti of Switzerland as well. And that looks like Bjorn Riley coming up to 7th place. Good riding from him so far. He's moving up through the pack, just behind his USA teammate Riley Amos. Dario Lilo of Switzerland as well, up to 8th place. Carter was just falling back down to 9th position, the Canadian. But this man going nowhere at the moment, still in 1st place. But the gap down to 12 seconds. Still working hard visibly on that bike there. But these two riders are going to have to try and work together just to stay with this man here, help each other along.
That's it. You know, they can. These are the Franco-Italian alliance. Let's see if it works through in this race. But obviously, you know, in bike racing, you've got to take risks. You've got to push hard. But at the same time, as if you work together, you can find mutual advantage within that. So, but with mountain biking, obviously the difficulty of this circuit here is, well, it's so steep, it's so hard that, well, you either have the legs or you don't really.
And these two obviously going to be sick of being behind this guy all around the World Cups as well. They're going to want to beat him so badly here, aren't they?
Exactly. If there's one place you can beat him, it wants to be at Worlds, isn't it? Especially for the French rider, with this huge French crowd that's growing by the minute.
So we're into the downhill section of the course now, and Vidal making it look smooth, making it look effortless over some of these jumps here, through the switchbacks as well.
Yeah, that big step up with a double, that's not a small jump. You know, it's really big. You can kind of get the scale of it here, but as you come into it, that's a huge rock face. Or rock face. Earth face, but, you know, it's as hard as concrete, that ground out there.
Oh, that will be in the sun.
That bike park gets baked dry every year.
They're coming through. Good ride then from Riley Amos on the number. Sorry, that's Bjorn Riley. Bjorn Riley, one to look out for, I think, here, as he's working his way through the pack here. A great aerial shot here, just showing those switchbacks in the sun as well, showing all the fans lining the course here in Leger, creating an awesome atmosphere all weekend for the World Championships here. Great to be back here. Last time was 2004, long time ago.
18 years, you know, some of these riders, they were barely born 18 years ago for the World Championships here. You know, when we start looking about Adrien Boissy and Perrier Gustavo from Brazil, you know, these guys 19 years old. They would have been. They wouldn't have remembered this.
Yeah, they would have been potty training when this World Championships was last year. The two riders working together still. Mathis Azzaro of France in 2nd, and Simone Avondetto of Italy in 3. Still the man with the number 1 on his back, Martin Vidal of Chile, the pre-race favourite.
He's using all of his skill to spend no effort whatsoever through those rock gardens. He's hitting the first rocks, he's trying to gap him. He's not pedaling through, he's using his speed, so that shows fantastic technique from the Chilean rider up in front.
I'll tell you what, Azaro not dropping his seat post well. You see it just come up and hit him over the rocks there. That will have him a little bit of a fright, I'm sure.
He's just checking to have a look where is Vidar. Let's see what the time gap is here over the line. I'm pretty sure we're going to pull back a little bit more time again.
Yeah, oh no, it's going to be 12 seconds again, so still around the same pace. They're staying on pace with him. He's not pulling away any more time, is Vidar. Halfway through this 6-lap race here on lap number 3. Sorry, lap number 4. We've just started now, so we're over halfway through this race here in Le Gay. And there goes Scatti of Switzerland, Fontana of Italy, Riley Amos of the USA. And the back of the picture, that will be Bjorn Riley as well. Not to get confused with Riley Amos and Bjorn Riley.
They're not making it easy for us today, are they?
Oh, no, they're not. They're not. See the Canadian Carter Woods has fallen back some in this race, as has David Campos as well, the big Spaniard with the number 5 plate. It's still Vidar's race.
Yeah, the brutal start to the circuit. You can see here the Italian Avondetto, he's come through on Azaro. He's looking to put the power down. And look, they're bridging the gap back up. This is what I meant earlier.
Has Vidar gone too early here?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how he reacts to this, but obviously it's going to be a coup to his morale. You know, he's taken off in front. He's looked to impose his domination as he's done all year, being world champion and all his World Cup wins. And now, you know, it's not worked. These guys have come back to him.
Yeah, could this be more mind game though? Could he be just falling back a little and then he's going to go for the same thing again, maybe a lap later? Or has he just emptied a bit of that tank just a bit too soon, and now he has to try and maybe reserve some energy for the latter half of this race?
Exactly, time will tell, but you know, you can see here the small Italian rider, he's really put the Avondetto, he's really put the hammer down. He's pulling away from the French rider here. The French rider we saw, he's not a particularly punchy rider. Vidar, when he attacks, just let him go. He rides at his own speed, so he's going to pull it back. But let's see how Vidar reacts to being caught by the riders that he had dropped before. I'm pretty sure we can expect.
Oh, he's ahead, he's ahead.
He has.
Oh, Avondetto has gone into the lead of this race for the first time here today. Vidar down to 2nd place. Is this part of the plan for Vidar? Maybe let Avondetto set the pace for a bit. Let him wear himself out, maybe. But he's staying on his back wheel here, is Vidar.
Exactly, these guys, they know each other very well. Avondetto, he's got 11 World Cup podiums to his name. Vidar has 9 World Cup wins, so you know they've been duking it out through their entire career.
So here is the move for the lead, and Avondetto around the outside. Vidar still staying with him though. Is Avondetto going to try and maybe pull away now?
Avondetto, what he'll do now is he's got back on, but he's got back on right in the technical woods, so we saw he made the difference on the steep climb. You know, they're going to ride together down through the woods, and I'm pretty sure that as soon as it goes back up this next steep fire road climb, if he has anything on those legs, he's going to try and make Vidar pay for his efforts earlier.
Yeah, it looked like he was just closing that gap then, so they're right on top of each other. The problem Vidar's going to have now is not going to have his ideal line choice. If he wants to follow Avondetto through here, he's going to have to maybe take the same lines that Avondetto is going to take through these woods as well.
Exactly, you know, we've seen these riders, they're really skillful, they know what they're doing, they've got confidence in one another, they're sharing World Cup podiums all through the year. The big question's going to be is, are they going to look at each other, or is Avondetto going to take it on?
Oh wow, taking separate lines here, and it worked better for Avondetto.
But let's see, I'm pretty sure that Vidar, he's not going to give Avondetto any help whatsoever. You know, the guy, he's bridged back across to him. You're strong enough to catch me, okay. Will you show me that you can ride away from me then?
That's right, all the mind games come into play. Everyone maybe waiting to show their hand till later on, as the Avondetto just starting to pull a few bike lengths ahead of Vidar now, the pre-race favourite. Could have an upset here on the cards. Oh, brilliant little bit of jibbing there from Avondetto, just popping the back wheel over, getting himself round that corner.
Here comes the Frenchman, as we said just now. You know, he's not gone with that violent effort, so he's obviously a rider that prefers riding himself in. I'm pretty sure he's going to be very, very dangerous in lap 5 and 6 of this event.
Yeah, he could come to fruition at the end of this race. Oh, Vidar, mistake from Vidar. Exactly. Oh, and a mistake as well. It looked like he just got caught out by Vidar's mistake and had to slow right down, lost his momentum and had to stall there. This is going to play right into the hands of Simone Avendetto, though. As really, he's starting to pull away now from that mistake from the two riders behind him, and that is gonna, you know, it's gonna do his race no harm at all. Here we go, look at that. Yeah, mistakes from both of those riders there. I'm sure Avendetto's gonna look over his shoulder and go, where they gone? Where they gone?
Yeah, you don't want to give a rider of Avendetto's caliber any free air whatsoever, so they're gonna have to club together to pull it back. As we see Azzaro, he's going to be looking forward to those big long climbs. Vidal, he's looking to suffer a little bit now from his earlier efforts, so let's see whether the Italian can capitalize on what he's managed to create for himself so far in this event.
That's right, we're into the tech feed zone now on lap number 4. Time to take some fluids on and also cool down as well. You see them pouring that liquid on them, trying to cool themselves down under them jerseys. Quick look over, well, not over the shoulder, it was under the arm, wasn't it? That look there from Avendetto.
Looking over your shoulders, a bit too much effort at this state in the race. So yeah, we can see here that the pre-race favourite Vidal, he's starting to pay for that effort that he put in on lap 3 there, and the Italian rider pulling away, and even now the French rider himself of Azzaro is starting to drop Vidal. So his status of favourite, you know, he's struggling to live up to that at this point in the race, but we do have 2.5 laps to go.
So can Avendetto hold this pace here? Quickly looks over, looks down further down the course. Where is Vidal gone? Vidal back down to 3rd then. We've got Matis Azzaro is now up into 2nd. So it's paid off for these two, the Franco-Swiss riders here. Like you said, they played it clever. And it's worked out for them. They're now in 1 and 2 here with Vidal all the way down to 3rd place now.
Indeed, the first 2 or 3 laps, Avendetto was playing a really smart race. He was letting everybody else do the efforts. He wasn't making the big top-end power accelerations to get back on. He was riding a smooth race. Obviously, you know, really well briefed by the Italian team as to what he has to do and how he has to go through this event. And Azzaro, exactly the same thing. He had a nice race plan, and with all the French crowd here, you know, that's giving him the extra motivation he needs to go and now hunt down Avendetto, who's leading this event.
Not looking 100% comfortable there, Vidal. Looks like he's having to work for this here.
Yeah, you know, when you put 16 seconds into everybody in such a short space and then they come back to you, it can cut both ways. You put those 16 seconds in, you leave up the road, then you know they're the ones that are struggling. But if they come back to you, then obviously your morale is going to take a hit, and he's going to need another lap and a half to get his breath back and get his head back on his shoulders. But he's still in the fight for a bronze medal. There's still a big gap between these front 3 and 4th place, so his race isn't over yet, not by a long stretch.
Oh, and he's fallen 24 seconds back now as Vidal. As Avendetto just starting to pull away now, 11 seconds ahead of the 2nd place rider, Matis Azzaro of France. And just saw him climbing just now, Avendetto, and he really.
Yeah, he's giving it all right now. You know, he's putting all the stops out, but it's still dangerous. It's still only lap 4 of 6. You know, if he's giving it everything now, well, obviously Azzaro, he's more of a linear rider. He's keeping the same pressure on. I'm pretty sure if we look at the lap splits, he'll be a lot more constant than the other 2 riders that we've seen have big accelerations and then had to absorb that effort. But of course, you know, Avendetto, he's not a beginner. He's been racing this scene for a long time. He knows what he can do. He's on top of his form. It is the World Championships. It is the big one.
And through the rocks there nicely from Matis Azzaro of France. That crowd really getting behind him here, as you can see and hear.
Yeah, this little section here is really technical. It's a little U-shape, so, you know, as you're coming in, you can see the riders coming out.
There we see Avendetto over the jumps here. Nicely as well, keeps it nice and smooth, carries some good speed into this section here. Into this section that really drops away from you with the switchbacks.
Yeah, one of the coolest parts of the circuit, all in the shade. There doesn't see hardly any sunshine throughout the year. A little bit of a breather. I mean, you can see how exposed the rest of the circuit is for these riders in the plains. So it's nice for them to have a little bit of shade. bit of freshness.
A lovely view of the surroundings there here in Leger, in this lovely mountain range here in the Port du Soleil region of the south of France. Choosing not to jump that step up there, just choosing to drop the back wheel, and that'll cost him some speed compared to the rest of them. Vidar still looking good on this section here though, but you can physically see the gap on between riders 1, 2 and 3, with Vidar just coming into the top of your, literally flying into the top of your screen there.
Luca Schatti from Switzerland again, really stylish rider, these Swiss boys. You know, you have to be top 15 in the world to even consider getting into the Swiss national team. That just shows the level that they have. And of course, it's not just their physical prowess, their technique is second to none. With guys like Nino leading the way, these boys can ride bikes.
Yeah, that's right. It's never been harder to get picked for a national team than it is now, especially if you're French, Italian or Swiss, with the depth of talent so deep here in mountain biking. Just to get picked for your country is an achievement in itself, let alone to actually go and win the race. But this man here, Simone Avondetto, looking in charge of this race now, lap 4 of 6.
He's holding nothing back, he's giving it everything he's got. Let's see how that translates into the last 2 laps. Giving it the big one up this climb here. It's obviously nice, dry conditions. It's not what we've seen for the cross-country short track, where this grass was deadly slippery and those rocks there. And now they've got a bit of grip back. We saw quite a few nasty crashes at the beginning of the week, and because it's dried out, well, the riders can now gap these rock gardens.
And a good battle here between 7th and 8th place Dario Lillo and Bjorn Riley of the USA, especially coming into this part of the course.
This is one of the few areas where you can get a little bit of respite, despite the fact the guys are pedaling. You know, you can see coming into the feed zone here, a little bit of a drink. Feed zone, finish zone, sorry.
So Avondetto coming into the penultimate lap now. We're now on lap 5 of 6 here in Leger. Three quarters of an hour into this race here, and the crowd getting behind that rider there. Matis Azaro going over the line, and here comes Vidar. Not looking very punchy out of that final corner at all, you have to say.
He's used a lot of his energy to try and impose on the race at the beginning, but Avondetto and Azaro, they weren't intimidated. They stuck to their game plan, and now it'll be to see, you know, the second half, who's planned to attack, who's planned to keep a bit of energy. I'm pretty sure that Azaro, he's 13 seconds down now on Avondetto. Let's see whether he can pull some of that back. He's lost a couple of seconds on that climb, but now we're at the start of this big long climb that takes us up to the top of the circuit. So we've got the best part of 70-80 meters vertical climbing, and it's brutal. It's between 10 and 17% this climb, so the riders are really going to have to pull all the stops out and exploit their machines to the fullest to get up there.
And you have to say, with Vidar 24 seconds back on the penultimate lap, it's going to be a mammoth task now to get back into that first position place ahead of Simone Avondetto, who's really took control of this race just now. This man right here, number 3 on his plate there, looking calm and in control of this race, has played the tactics right so far. He let Vidar go off and do his own thing, and Vidar fell back. And then it was Avondetto's turn to pounce there.
Vidal with his tongue out there at the Rondo climb, this is really hurting all those efforts he put in earlier on. We've got Azaro, the French favourite here. You can see the crowd's really pushing him, supporting him all the way along. We can hear from here, we've got the chainsaws going, we've got the horns, we've got the bells. This is Leger. This is mountain bike racing. This is fun. This is sport at its very best.
Yeah, the riders don't hold anything back, but neither do the fans here in France.
They certainly don't.
So Vidar just settling into some pace now. Maybe try and go for an attack on the final lap, but I tell you what, Luca Schatti of Switzerland just on his back, starting to come up on the back wheel of Vidar now. So Vidar may be in danger of even falling out of the medal positions here. The reigning world champion for under 23 men could come away from this race without a medal.
Exactly, that's obviously the big danger as you come in as the race favourite, you come in as reigning champion. You've got a target on your back, and everybody has been studying you over the last year, what you do well, where your weaknesses are.
So So we can see the French team member. He'll be relaying information to his rider there, running along with him.
That looks like it's Julian Absalon. No, it's not Julian, because obviously all we have is Azari rides for Julian's team. For BMC Absolute Absalon, so this is a really strong rider, big future in front of him. We can just see the Italian rider going out of shot in the top left-hand corner. So we've lost a bit of...
Oh, wow, a New Zealand rider there has had a puncture. Well,
no,
his whole wheel's blown
wheel.
out. So he could have cased one of the jumps there and the wheels just exploded.
Yeah, these wheels, they're really lightweight, they're really strong in...
Yeah, they're not designed for square
shocks,
impacts.
but as soon as, you know, if you land sideways, they're not designed for that. The unidirectional carbon fibre, if you land wrong, it will break.
Yeah, and it could have happened many places on this course as well, maybe off one of the drops or one of the jumps, or even just hitting one of those rocks at the wrong angle.
Exactly. You know, we're on lap 5 of 6 now, so fatigue starting to set in. You make the smallest error, you land just a couple of degrees off, and the force and the speed that you're coming at it, well, yes, you know, that can be the result. You can end up breaking quite considerable components. So the Italian rider, Avendetto, just going up over the bridge there, the crossing point in the course. He's looking really strong. He's pulled out even more time on Azaro now. He's up to 18 seconds. And Vidar has had a mid-race collapse. He's now 50 seconds back, with Schiatti just 6 seconds further back behind him. Yeah,
he's really fallen into the clutches of Schiatti, the Swiss rider. Just 6 seconds between the two of them now. So Vidar's race could be coming undone here. We're seeing some style there from the French rider Mathis Azaro, currently in second, in a bit of a race of his own here, unless he can make up 11 seconds, or sorry, 18 seconds on the rider in front, Simone Avendetto, really commanding this race now.
Yeah, Avendetto, you can just see he's a lot more fluid, he's a lot more aggressive, he's not slowing down. It's going to be very, very hard now for Azaro to peg back that difference. But, you know, he's not giving up, he's keeping the power on. We'll see through the next long climbs just how much he's got left in the legs and whether he can actually make the difference there. Because looking at the speed of Avendetto down through this technical section, you know, he's not losing anything here, so let's just see what's going to happen up the next physical section.
That's right, working his way through them routes very well there. Looking smooth, looking in control, especially this late part of the... Whoa! See,
that's
Vidal,
exactly, that's the tiredness coming in there.
Leant against that tree on the inside, almost held him up.
Looking at his shoulders, I'm pretty sure he's not worried about a tree.
No. So Vidal really starting to feel it now. He seems like he's just blown up somewhat after going too early. I don't think he expected the other two to come back at him the way they did, and I think that's maybe destroyed him a little bit.
Yeah, the confidence he had coming in to attack that early and that hard. You know, he really thought he was going to ride away from everybody, but these following riders, the Azaro and Avendetto, they've proved him wrong. They've pushed through, they've shown that they were ready for the race as well. They knew what was coming, and they've reacted accordingly.
But the thing is, all the pressure coming into the race will have been on Vidar as well, as the current world champion and also the man who's really in form and dominating the under-23 World Cups. So the other riders, nothing to lose here at all by attacking them.
Exactly. I mean, you even could go so far as to say, you know, what was their plan for the season? Did they come into the season saying, right, you know, we really want the Worlds? We know that Vidar is going to be up there all year long. He is the dominant rider, but that doesn't mean to say that we can't get him at Worlds.
Exactly, and this is the race where no one holds anything back, and Vidar definitely didn't hold anything back. Maybe could have done with holding a little bit back for the last couple of laps of this race, because he's really starting to blow up now. Azaro now, the gap to 18 seconds back. So that's 5 seconds in just one part of the course here that Avendetto has pulled away from Mathis Azaro of France. Avendetto really going for it here, got the bit between his teeth with a lap and a bit just to go here in Leger, France.
And he's got the smell of that jersey in his nose, and he's got the taste of the medal in his mouth. He's really given it his all now. You can see he's focused, but he's not got any signs of weaknesses. You know, he's keeping that power down. He's got the race grimace on, but there's no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, that's right. He's got that tunnel vision now, it seems, just focusing on getting over the line. But let's see if this man here can put any time into him. Mathis Azaro in front of the home crowd. Can that give him the lift he needs as we come to the edge of this race? Look at them all along the side of the course, literally shouting in his ear. They'll be shouting, allez, allez. Yeah,
he had a little stretch there. He was up out the saddle, so obviously the effort's starting to take its toll on his body now. You know, getting close to the hour point.
Here we go. It's for the bronze medal, this one. Vidar had absolutely nothing there. for Schiatti of Switzerland. It just breezed past him there, and Vidar looking in trouble here.
And that was a really well-played move. Obviously, the Swiss rider snuck up on him from behind, saved a little bit of effort, and then if you can make that little acceleration as you go through, you can really break the morale of a rider that you've caught. So really well played here. You can see that these riders, despite being in the under-23 category, they've got a lot of racecraft, and it's really, really impressive to see at this stage in their careers.
Yeah, a lot of these younger riders will be drawing from the experience of the elite riders they will race for on the factory teams as well. That's the joy. A lot of these under-23s will be on deals with much more experienced riders, always on hand to you know, show them the ropes in this sport before they come up and become rivals.
Exactly. You know, we're looking at these guys now, they're the under-23s. This is one of the advantages to the national championships, because you don't just have your lead riders from your trade team, you also have the big stars from your national team. And with the under-23s, they're still not rivals, so they're giving them a few of their secrets, whether it be tire pressure, whether it be line choice, whether it be race tactics. You know, that everything gets shared at these world championships, because the more medals you bring home, the more prestige you have for the country, and everybody shares that. Everybody bakes in that glory.
And it looks like Schiatti has pulled 9 seconds ahead of Martin Vidar of Chile, now the pre-race favourite. And this man at the front of the pack still, Simone Avondetto of Italy, 20 seconds to the good of the second place rider, the Frenchman Mathis Azzaro, and a whole minute ahead of Luca Schiatti of Switzerland in the bronze medal position. As we come into the latter part of this 5th lap here, he'll know how close he is to victory here. He's just got to stay composed, not do anything silly here, and this race will be his.
That's easier said than done in the last lap and a half of a race. You're tired. Look, we see there the French rider pulling his foot out as he comes into the bike park. These are skilled riders, they're experienced riders, but fatigue, it takes no prisoners. And as they're coming in, you know, they've got to really fight and, you know, dig into their last reserves. And we see them there hooking up on the jump. You know, at the beginning of the race, everyone was clearing everything, but the physical toll of this race an hour in is being shown on everybody's technique and everyone's faces.
We see here Luca Schiatti in a race of his own in 3rd place now. He's pulled clear, 9 seconds ahead of Martin Vidar, but he's a whole 40 seconds behind the rider in 2nd place, Mathis Azzaro. So you have to assume he's going to ride on his own to the finish of this race, hopefully.
Exactly. Looking how smooth he is. He's obviously given his full effort throughout the race, but he's absolutely judged his race plan to perfection. He's going to come into that last race, he's going to have a really strong last lap. We've got the Frenchman here. He's defending now his 2nd place, because, you know, I think first is starting to pull away from him. He's going to be very, very difficult to pull back 20 seconds on this last lap, but you can be sure as anything he's going to give it everything he has to do that.
So here's the leader again, Avondetto. In the latter part of this penultimate lap here, still working hard, still knows there's no time for complacency here at these World Championships, as any mistake or any drop in form will play right into the hands of the riders behind him, who will still feel they're in with a chance here. Mathis Azzaro, 20 seconds behind, but any mistake here from Avondetto could easily be punished from a 20-second gap behind. He's on to the final straight then for the penultimate time. As Vidar really starting to struggle out here now. Didn't think I'd be saying that here today.
No. You know, he was the big favourite coming in. Everybody was looking at him, and, you know, maybe the pressure's got to him, but in any case, he's had a fantastic race. You know, he's raced as hard as he could. He's shown his colours, but unfortunately, you know, today he's come across better riders than himself.
So Simone Avondetto on to the final lap here of this World Championship race, the under-23 Men's UCI Mountain Bike World Championship race.
He's managed to hold the gap between those 2 splits, so he's not lost any time over this last half a lap. Let's see whether he's got anything left in the tank for these last 2 climbs, because the circuit composes 2 major climbs, really steep gradients. Italian rider, the effort's really inscribed on his face now, so let's see how he manages to hold up on these climbs. And Schiatti now coming into the start-finish straight, looking very, very strong for this last lap. You know, he's had a really solid race plan. He's been really constant. He's managed to pull back. Vidar, the pre-race favourite, he's looking very confident here. Let's see whether he's coming back.
Yeah, 3 seconds back. Yeah, he's pulled 3 seconds back out of Avondetto. So maybe Avondetto's just settling into a little bit of a final lap pace here. Now he knows he's close enough, but with just 20 seconds for the rider behind him, he needs to be careful. He's not too complacent on this final lap.
We've got them both here. We can see them on this larger pan shot of the screen.
That doesn't look like 20. Well, I'm not sure if that is 20 seconds anymore.
It's a big steep climb, but you know, as we said earlier, Avondetto, he played his cards. He pulled off really hard in lap number 4. He attacked hard. He got the gap. Now he's just trying to defend it. But of course, when you make that gap, you have to defend it, and it's not an easy task to do.
So Vidar, 1 minute and 7 seconds back now, so losing even more time now. And there's not much of a gap between him and Filippo Fontana of Italy in 5th place.
Yeah, we have a 20-second gap now between 4th and 5th. Let's see how this is going to pan out over the remaining lap. The rider's coming up towards the top of this first climb that is so brutal. It's so exposed. It's so steep. You have the impression that you're not going forward at all because the width of the trail. You know, you can see the people beside you. You're not far off bottom gear. This is really brutal racing.
And this is where the riders will empty the tanks on this final lap. So they don't want to leave anything left in those tanks for when they cross the finish line. Look at this quick look over the shoulder from Avondetto. He's starting to kick now. He just wants to maybe pull out a bit more of a gap now on this final lap just to seal the deal and kill this race off.
Yeah, he knows now that he's got the gap he needs, especially as you get to the top of the climb. You can say, all right, you know, I've got a big gap. I just have to be careful on the descents, not make any mistakes. I can then kick in again on the second climb. And he knows that, you know, 20 seconds, that should be enough now. But obviously with a rider of the caliber of Azzaro behind him, well, you know, has he got anything left there to come back onto level playing field?
So some more instructions from the French team there. Probably telling him, you can still get him, you can still get him. He's only 20 seconds ahead of you.
And you see a little bit less smooth through the rock garden than we've seen previously. That effort really starting to take its toll now, but this is normal. We're in lap 6 of the World Championships. If you got anything left now, well, maybe you should have used it a bit earlier.
Yeah, now's the time to use any of those reserves of your energy here on the final lap of these World Championships. One race, one title. That's the deal with the World Championships. Not like the World Cup where it's decided over a series. This is one winner takes it all. And that all is a rainbow striped jersey and a gold medal.
Yeah, Azzaro losing 10 seconds on that climb up from the start-finish straight, so Avondetto is really in control of this race now.
So look at the focus. He's starting to breathe a bit heavier now through his mouth, you can see. It's to be expected at the end of this race here, where he's really dug deep for this one. And he had to dig deep to make sure that Vidar didn't pull away from that race there. And him and Azzaro could be very pleased with the way they handled that there. And their attitude towards Vidar trying to pull away. They stayed with it. They didn't let him get too far away. They let him go off and make his own race, and they let him blow up.
They did indeed. Fantastic racecraft from the Italian rider. You can see it's not just the racecraft he has in spades. He's also got technique. We see him doing repeated nose turns through these routes. Not an easy thing to do as the French rider. They're a little bit less fluid than Azzaro, but still, you know, really technically proficient guys, and you can see the effort etched on all of their faces. Yeah,
he's really gritting his teeth now. Avondetto is really digging deep in this final lap just to make sure he really seals the deal here in Le Jay. He's got to keep his focus up here, as one slight mistake could be punished here by Mathis Azzaro. But it's 27 seconds the gap now between the two of them, so it's looking a bit more comfortable now for Simone Avondetto of Italy to take the gold medal here. Great racing here from Luca Sciatti, come all the way through the pack here, up into 3rd place. Great race from him to get up into the bronze medal position for Switzerland.
Our pre-race favourite Vidar, who made a fantastic move on lap 3. Well, he's now really paying the price, but still in for a 4th place. It's not a shabby ride at all.
Yeah, exactly. 4th place at any World Championships is never anything to throw away. Let's look here on the screen, going through the tech feed zone here. Chance to taking on some last-minute fuel here for that burst to the finish. We can see the gaps here between the riders visually on the screen. No numbers needed here. You can see just how far away they are from each other on this aerial shot here. There we go, a whole minute.
What's happened to the French rider? Has Azaro had a problem in the woods?
I see Azaro go through the screen just now. That's the 3rd place rider. I'm not sure why we're seeing the gap between 1st and 3rd, but it's a minute at the moment. So Scatti just settling into 3rd place there, losing 3 seconds on Avondetto. Or Avondetto just deciding to push in this final part of the race, just to really kill off any challenge from Matthias Azaro of France. Look at him, he's got his head down, his elbows are out, he's gritting his teeth. He really wants this. Look at the focus on the Italian's face. He is digging deep here in Leger. He wants this gold medal. He wants to be crowned world champion, and it's looking good. And you see that little signal there from Azaro to the crowd, trying to get them to make even more noise.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, and this is the 103, so it's going to be a rider who's going to get lapped. Hopefully he's not going to
Bit
hold.
of a mechanical here.
Yeah, he's behind, he's in front of Azaro there. He's going to look there, there you go. He's going to see that, and he's going to move out of the way, hopefully, of the Frenchman and let him pass and not hold him up. There you go. Moves to the side of the track to let him through. Doesn't slow him down too much, hopefully, but you've got to say this race is pretty much run now for Avondetto, being chased there by some fans, giving him some verbal encouragement, helping him to dig deep in this final part of the course. And here we go, one of the riders of the race here to pull it back into 3rd place for Luca Sciatti, 22 years old from Switzerland. Only 2 4th place in the World Cup this year, so this is going to be the standout result of his season for the Swiss rider.
It is indeed perfect time to pull out all the stops. You know, he moves up to the elites next year, so to finish your under-23 career with a medal, that's a really good pointer for the future.
Yeah, and look at this, 35 seconds now, the gap between these 2 riders here. Avondetto really flying now. Azaro of France in 2nd, and here's Scatti of Switzerland, Lucas Scatti of Switzerland in 3rd place, 57 seconds behind, so he's keeping on pace, you've got to say, with Avondetto.
Which is really impressive when you see the speed that Avondetto is carrying through all of these obstacles, carrying up the climbs. This means that, you know, Lucas Scatti is having a fantastic race too, and Azaro, well, he's trying to limit the damage now in 2nd place, come in for that fantastic silver medal here on his home track in Leger.
And the pre-race favourite, Martin Vidar of Chile, back in 4th, 1 minute 15 seconds behind his race run there by the looks of it. Going to be outside of the medal contention unless he can pull out 18 seconds in the latter half of this lap. But seeing how he's been riding, how tired he's looking after that big push earlier on, that looks out of the question there. Bjorn Riley up in the 5th place for the USA. Good result for him on the cards. 1 minute and 46 seconds back. Filippo Fontana of Italy. So we'll have 2 Italian riders in the top 10 here in Leger. He's there in 7th place. Dario Lillo of Switzerland is in 7th place, ahead of Riley Amos of the USA. Luke Weidman of Switzerland, another Swiss rider. 3 Swiss in the top 10. Then it's going to be David Campos in 10th place. And Mario Bear of Austria in 11.
Well, yeah, Azaro starting it up through the big doubles there, down into the technical section through the woods.
That's right, he'll be pushing all the way to the line. He'll be...
he's enjoying himself now. He knows that gold medal's gone, but doesn't mean to say he can't enjoy himself in front of his home crowd.
There we go.
Come through for this 2nd place.
Starting up down the switchback, the downhill part of the course, the most fun-looking part of the course, for my money. But you can't even see... no, you can't even see Avondetto in shot. He's that far ahead. Here's Scatti of Switzerland, riding his own race there in 3rd place.
What a race he's ridden.
Yeah, doing well to come right through to the pack. But not long to go now for the man at the front, Simone Avondetto. Gold medal awaits him and the rainbow striped jersey for the 22-year-old Italian national champion, European champion, and very soon, hopefully, a world champion. So look at that, he's going to do the clean sweep of championship jerseys, national, Euro and world, once he gets over that finish line.
That's certainly be a year he'll never forget. Fantastic performance. You know, he's obviously shown that he's been on form all year. He's confirmed his promise, the national team, the confidence and what they've invested in him. You know, he's paid it back in spades now.
Yeah, that's right. And just before moving up into the elites, 22 years old, so he'll be into the elites next year. And what a springboard this will be for him. Here we go. He's going to be your new world champion here in Leger in 2022. Simone Avondetto of Italy is the world champion for the under-23 men cross-country Olympic. There we go. Already feeling it there. Matis Azaro, a silver medal for him. And listen to that crowd getting behind him there, pushing him over the line. Look how much this silver medal means to him, and he's going to wheelie over the line. Ecstatic then, the Frenchman, with that silver medal and second place here in front of a jubilant home crowd. And here's Luca Scatti, a great race to come through the pack here for third place, you've got to say, for the Swiss rider. There's some fans of his right there.
He knows he's done a ride, look at that, he's happy with himself. He's followed his race plan, he's executed it to perfection, and that's obviously resulted for him in a brilliant third place here in Leger for the 2022 UCI World Under-23 Cross Country Championships.
Yeah, and here's a case of what could have been for Martin Vidar. Just pushed too early there and was made to pay for it. Taking nothing away, of course, from Simone Avondetto, Matis Azaro and Luca Scatti in 1, 2 and 3. But he will be disappointed with that result there, being the reigning world champion. I'm sure he'll go over to congratulate the guys in 1, 2 and 3. Good ride here, though, from Bjorn Riley as well of the United States. Another rider that came through the pack here today to claim a top 5 at the World Championships. Next up, it's going to be Filippo Fontana of Italy coming through for 6th place. No need to look over your shoulder, Filippo. There's no one behind you. And then there's Dario Lilo, who checks over his shoulder for safety down the final straight. Doesn't want to get pimped at the line there. And he's going to come over the line for Switzerland. In 7th place, another USA rider, Riley Amos, coming over the line into 8th place. There's got to be a mixture of elation of finishing this high up and just pure relief that it's all over for another year.
Yeah, these riders, they've fought as hard as they possibly can all the way through. You know, they've delivered. Some of them have over-delivered, some of them have suffered, but you know, at the end of the day, they've all put everything they've had in. They've ridden themselves into the ground for this, and you can see they're just now coming through, soaking up this atmosphere. This will be a memory that'll live with them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that's right. That's Luke Weidmann of Switzerland. Looks pretty happy with that 9th place. Then we've got, it's going to be the Spaniard, David Campos, coming through into 10th place. So he got ahead of Mario Bear, as did Ollie Rekdal of Norway, coming through into 11th place. Then it's going to be Mario Bear of Austria in 12th place. Sam Fox, or is that going to be Charlie Aldridge? No, that's Sam Fox there, the Australian. He's going to come through into 13th place, closely followed by Simon Volter of Switzerland. And then it's going to be Adrien Boichy of France in 15th place. And then next up, is it going to be Carter Woods? Yes, it is. He gets ahead of Joseph Blackmore of Great Britain, who ends up in 17th position. Not a bad result there for Joe Blackmore. Just 19 years old, so it'll be first year in the under-23s for him. 5th at the Commonwealth Games and 2nd at the British National Championships. Backing out with a good result here. 17th at the World Championships. Nothing to be sniffed at. And then it's Xavier Pereira of Brazil coming through in 18th. Tobias Leland of Denmark. Loan Cheneval of France rounding out the top 20. Cameron Mason coming through in 21st for Great Britain. And Simon Oliver Solvoy of Denmark. And Lennart Jan Kreyer of Germany. Jente Mikkels. Jan Zutlakul of Czech Republic. Clement Hornet of Belgium.
Yeah.
And Niels Abersol coming through for Switzerland in 27th place. Mathis Guy. A little down the order than we would have expected from the 19-year-old. All the riders just taking a breather after there, and there's the confirmation of the results. Look at that, Simone Avondetto, your new cross-country Olympic men's under-23 UCI World Champion here in Ligier. And then it was the Frenchman Mathis Azaro putting it on for the home fans in silver medal position, and Luca Scatti of Switzerland taking home the bronze medal for Switzerland, adding to their already huge and colossal medal tally here in Ligier this week. Whoa, what a race.
Exactly, that was action start to finish. That was the men's under-23 Olympic cross-country event. Fantastic performances all around, and I think, you know, we really saw a battle of the titans in there, with a strong first lap, and then the lead changing between the top 4 riders. Fantastic event.
That's right, the future of cross-country safe in the hands of these riders to come through the ranks here. Can't wait to see them all filter through to the elite ranks. All already on top of their game in the under-23 level, but it's a big step up nonetheless. But some of these riders looking more than capable to hold their own once they make the move up into the elite men class for next year, and especially this man here, Simone Avondetto, then your new world champion here in Ligier, and we're going to hear from him down in the finish area.
Simone, first place, congratulations. First title for Italy for this weekend. How do you feel?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's amazing. I still can't believe.
How was the race?
Yeah, it was good race. Was suffer a bit at the start. I couldn't follow Martin when he attacked. Then I saw that he was not so much in front of us. I start to feel a little bit better. So I say I try, I push. I saw I took a bit of gap, and so I was all in till the finish.
That was an impressive race. Congratulations again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So there we have it from our new world champion, Simone Avondetto. And let's take a recap of the top 3 here. See Luca Scatti off the brakes there, covering them, but not using them on any of these jumps here. Great race for him, for Switzerland, to come through for 3rd place. Worked his way up through the pack from the start. And then there's the man in 2nd place. The man who worked so hard with Avondetto to reel Vidar back in at the on lap number 4. But it wasn't to be for him. He's going to take the silver medal, because this man, well, what can you say about Simone Avondetto? Took command of this race in the latter stages. And, well, there was no going back from there from the Italian. He held on then to win the World Championships here for the under-23 cross-country Olympics race here in Ligier, France. And still many more races to come with us here today. We've still got the elite women's race and the elite men's race to finish later on here in Leger. We hope to see you for that as well. And there's a beautiful aerial shot of the finish here. The whole village coming to life for this race here. The World Championships back in Leger after 18 years away. And back with a bang it is. Still plenty more action to come from us today.
Yeah, next up we have the women's elite cross-country event. And following that, at the end of the day, we will have the men's Olympic cross-country discipline. So big afternoon of racing here in Leger still to come. And of course, we're going to soon have the podium riders of both elite under 23 men and women receiving their rainbow jerseys and their medals here in the heart of Leger, just across from the tourist office. For those of you that know the village, fantastic town, really living the mountain bike vibe. And here again we have Frenchman Azaro. As you can see, all the support from the French crowd for him. Very partisan, but hey, they're still cheering for everybody else as well, so brilliant atmosphere. And obviously the weather today, absolutely perfect for mountain bike riding. 24, 25 degrees, clear skies.
And we're viewing the silver medalist here today, Mathis Azaro, and we're going to go down to the finish.
Mathis, second place, congratulations. What a week for France.
Yeah, what a week. I'm super happy. All the French crowd, is on fire. Yeah, it's amazing to see this crowd. Also yesterday with the downhill, we saw a big day. And yeah, this morning with the title with Lynn Burkier and me on second place. Yeah, it's beautiful.
How does it feel to be on your home country for the win? For the second place, sorry.
Sorry?
How does it feel to be here in your home country for this second place?
I think it's the best feeling I never had on the bike. Yeah, I was alone on my bike and feel the French atmosphere. I was, like maybe 50 watts more in the leg. It was beautiful.
Thank you very much, Mathis.
So there we have it, the words from the home country rider there. The best thing that's happened to him on a bike, to take a silver medal at the World Championship in front of a home crowd. And here we have Luca Sciatti of Switzerland here. Great ride from him. So let's go and hear from him down in the finish.
Luca, third place, congratulations. After last year, fourth, now third. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm very happy with this third place. I was chasing this podium for 4 years, and now finally I can make the step to the podium. I'm really happy with this result.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you. I take you to the podium.
So there we have it, the words then from all of our medalists here, and there's confirmation of our results. The world champion is Simona Vendetto of Italy. The silver goes to Mathis Azaro of France, and Luca Sciatti of Switzerland takes the bronze. The likes of Carter Woods falling back in that race there. Not sure what happened to him. He's looking very strong at the start. Also the likes of Charlie Aldridge too, all falling back, maybe not able to keep up with the pace that those boys were setting at the front from the get-go.
Yeah, the pace set by those front runners today was absolutely brutal. They were flying around this circuit, to do a full 6 laps in an hour and 10 minutes. They're really tearing around, and I don't think we're going to see much of an improvement in times in the elites this afternoon.
No, the pace and the track will devolve slightly as more riders go down. You can see just how dry, dusty and blown out it has got today. And that's only going to deteriorate as the day goes on. So it could make things even more interesting in the later races today. 2 more races still to come with us here at the UCI Mountain Bike World Championships in Leger. Elite women and elite men still to come. Plenty more drama, plenty more action to be enjoyed here with us online here. I hope you're enjoying yourself watching us here. We're definitely enjoying being here commentating for you in the heart of the action here in Leger. Best seats in the house you've got here, and you don't have to worry about flying. Lovely. But like we say, the World Cycling Games in Scotland next year in Glasgow. So if you can get to that, honestly, these events have to be seen to be believed. They have to be experienced firsthand. I iterate that enough, just how, you know, the amount of fans that cycling is getting because of races like this, especially yesterday. There's going to be, you know, young French kids looking at that, looking up to them riders like that. And then you've got the likes of, you know, Simona Vendetto, young Italian kids seeing that. The riders that are just coming up through the early ranks, they'll be looking at him and thinking, you know what, I can do that in a few years.
Exactly.
If I work that hard.
They're all an inspiration to both younger and riders alike, younger and older riders alike. But of course, you know, the young kids seeing the success, it's just fantastic. And with an event like this coming through, you know, next year in Glasgow, we've got all the cycling events being combined, road, track, mountain bike. It's going to be really, really impressive.
Here we go. Highlights of the women's race earlier on today as well. That's Sophie Pedersen of Denmark, bronze medalist earlier on today in the women's under-23 race. We're going to go down to have a chat with her.
Sophie, third place, congratulations. First podium for Denmark. How do you feel?
I feel very happy. Yeah, I have no words. I'm super happy.
How was your race?
It was good. It was good. I just kept my own pace the whole race, and yeah, I got third, so I'm very happy.
Congratulations again. Thank you.
So there we go, Sophie Pedersen over the moon with her bronze medal. They're happy to run her own race there and come away with a bronze medal here in Leger. It's a great way to cap the end of the season off. Of course, there's one more race left next weekend in Val di Sole in Italy, just a bit down the road. Another technical course. Yeah, that's right. Still plenty to play for in those World Cup overall races, and another chance to shine here as well in front of the world stage.
Indeed, with 1 week between these events, the riders, you know, they'll be able to continue their form over. There will be obviously changes because of the different circuit, because of how it's running. But, you know, the riders here that have maybe had a bad couple of days coming into their event, they should be able to correct that for next week. And of course, what you also have is the overall World Cup, so there'll be points up to defend, places to take. So it's going to be a real fight. So remember to join us next week in Val di Sole.
Oh yeah, that'll be awesome. And already the fans are on the racing line there. Hopefully they move before we start the women's elite racing. Well, it could make things a bit more technical for these riders. Here she is then, the under-23 world champion, Lina Berquier of France. A faultless race for her, commanded the race, attacked early. No one had anything for her. There's the second place rider as well, Puck Pieters of the Netherlands. Good race from her, fighting her way through the pack up into second place. See her really working hard on that downhill section there. The slow-mo showing just how much those bikes are working underneath these riders. Just see it all compressing underneath them off the drops here. Using up all of that suspension, Berquier there. But all in control. Coming through to take the win here. And the Italian rider there who ended up in fourth place today in that race. That was Guida Specchia of Italy, the 22-year-old. So some of the highlights of that women's race here. You see how hard they're working there on this climb. And this is where she really made her break here, Berquier. And really pulled away from the pack and pretty much destroyed the competition. No disrespect to the rest of them. So some highlights from our women's under-23 race there in Leger. You can see it's perfect conditions for a bike race today. More or less clear skies, the odd cloud in the sky, and we're down to the podium celebration now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed with the awards ceremony of the UCI Mountain Bike World Championships 2022.
And we will leave you for now for our podium celebrations. We'll be back with you. Of course, you'll still be able to watch all of the podium celebrations, and we'll be back commentating for you later on. So for now, from me, Toby Brody, and Kieran Page, thank you very much, and we'll be back with you for the women's elite and elite men's racing later on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the awards ceremony of the UCI Mountain Bike World Championships 2022 for the Olympic cross country U23 women.
Le maillot arc-en-ciel, la montre Tissot et les médailles seront remises par José Luis Lopez Ceron, membre du comité directeur de l'Union cycliste internationale.
The rainbow jersey, the Tissot watch, and the medals will be presented by Senor José Luis Lopez Ceron, member of the UCI Management Committee.
À la troisième position, vainqueur de la médaille de bronze représentant le Danemark.
In third place, bronze medalist representing Denmark, Sophie Pedersen.
Championne du monde 2022 représentant les Pays-Bas.
In second place, silver medalist representing the Netherlands, Buck Pietersen.
À la première place, vainqueur de la médaille d'or, championne du monde.
In first place, winner of the gold medal and world champion
pour la France, Lille Burquier. Au département de Haute-Savoie et par Madame Aurélie Merle, directrice des compétitions sportives aux Jeux Olympiques Paris 2024.
We'll be presenting our prizes to our athletes.
Mesdames et messieurs, je vais vous demander votre attention et de vous découvrir pour l'hymne national de la vainqueur de ces championnats du monde du 23.
Ladies and gentlemen, and now for the world champion, the national anthem
de la France. champagne pour que vous puissiez partager avec le public. Et attention maintenant, tout le monde aux abris, ou au contraire, mettez-vous bien en évidence pour être ainsi arrosé par nos championnes. Attention.
Can we do it with the jersey? Can do it with the jersey in front of the black top.
Okay.
Like without holding the jersey.
assister à la cérémonie des médailles du champion du monde mountain bike UCI 2022 pour la catégorie des moins de 23 ans dans le cross-country olympique.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony of the UCI 2022 Mountain Bike World Championships for the U23 Men's Olympic Cross Country event.
Le maillot arc-en-ciel, la montre Tissot et les médailles seront présentés par M. José Luis Lopez Cerón, membre du comité directeur de l'Union cycliste internationale.
The rainbow jersey, the Tissot watch, and the medals will be presented by Senor José Luis Lopez Cerón, member of the UCI Management Committee.
En troisième place, vainqueur de la médaille de bronze représentant la Suisse.
In third place, bronze medalist representing Switzerland, Luca Schetti.
Deuxième place, vainqueur de la médaille d'argent, vice-champion du monde, représentant la France.
In second place, silver medalist, representing France,
Mathis Atteron. Vainqueur de la médaille d'or et champion du monde du 23 représentant l'Italie.
In first place, gold medalist, campione del mondo, world champion from Italia, Simone Arrandato.
Sportive aux Jeux Olympiques Paris 2024. Myriam Lullier, vice-présidente à la culture et au patrimoine du département de Haute-Savoie. Et Simon Bergois, adjoint au maire à la commune d'Égy.
We'll be presenting the prizes to our athletes.
Et maintenant, mesdames, mesdemoiselles, messieurs, je vous demande votre attention pour l'hymne national du vainqueur de ce championnat du monde 2022.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, in honor of our world champion, the national anthem of Italy.
champagne. Allez, encore quelques applaudissements une dernière fois avant de se retrouver ensuite au départ de la course d'Armélite. Les applaudissements pour ce superbe podium des moins de 23 ans.